What would President Ralph Nader do today about Iraq? Would you pull all our troops out immediately?
We owe a responsibility to the people of Iraq. We entrenched Saddam Hussein in 1979 along with the British. We armed them, we gave them credits, we sold them under U.S. export license by corporations, sold materials for chemical and biological warfare in the 1980s under Reagan and the first Bush administration. Can you imagine that? And, of course, then he invaded Iraq, and he was no longer our boy. He was our adversary. In one day, President Bush, #1, could have overthrown, with all the international support that he could have overthrown Saddam Hussein. Instead, he told the Kurds and the Shiites, rise up and overthrow the tyrants. They got about 75% of the country under their control, and President Bush, #1, held back our military forces while Saddam Hussein slaughtered these people.
But what would you do now?
I want to give a little history. Okay, here's what we do now. We need to get out of there as fast as possible because we are the magnet for increasing guerrilla warfare and increasing entry by al-Qaeda and others. Just the opposite of what we were told was going to happen. So we need to get the UN in there with properly funded and trained peacekeeping troops from a whole variety of countries, #1. We need to provide a well-supervised elections with perhaps suitable autonomies, with the acquiescence, of course, of the Shiites, Sunnis, and Kurds. And we need to continue humanitarian assistance to those people in Iraq. That's the way to get it done.
And who will rule Iraq? It might become an Islamic fundamentalist extreme regime.
Iraqis will be ruled by Iraqis. They will be ruled under fair elections by Iraqis. They're very creative people, and we have no business being there. We have no business diverting hundreds of billions of dollars over there while our schools, clinics, public transit, libraries are crumbling for lack of repair. We need to get rid of that tax cut for the wealthy, which is increasing deficits, and have a massive job-producing public works.
Repeal the entire Bush tax cut.
Yes, and have a job-producing public works to repair America. These jobs can't be shipped to India and China. They're there. They're in every community. They're well-paying. A lot of them are union jobs. There are so many ways to move this country forward, Tim, and we've got to have more voices and choices. We just can't sit back like the Nation magazine and betray its own traditions and the liberal intelligentsia, and once again settle for the least worst and watch both parties get worse every 4 years, and then the liberals will come back to us and complain about, oh, those Democrats are caving into these corporations, they're letting the Republicans run roughshod over them.
Civil rights, many gay couples believe that they should be allowed to be married. You heard Governor Schwarzenegger say he disagrees with that. Democratic candidates will say they're for civil unions but not gay marriage. Would Ralph Nader support gay marriage?
I support equal rights for same-sex couples. I think there was an interesting quote by a lesbian leader in the New York Times a few days ago when she said, it's not a matter of labels, it's a matter of equal rights. However that can occur by adjusting state laws or having a federal law, that is certainly something that the gay lesbian community is going to have to work out.
But gays should be allowed to be married if they so choose, according to you.
Of course. Love and commitment is not exactly in surplus in this country. The main tragedy, what undermines marriage, is divorce, as Mayor Daley of Chicago just said.
When you ran in 2000, you had a financial disclosure which showed your wealth at $3.8 million. Will you release your tax returns this year as well?
First of all, about 85 to 90% of everything I've earned has gone and raised, has gone to all the citizen groups all over the country that for 35, 40 years have saved millions of lives and injuries, taken dangerous drugs off the marketplace. I think I have to remind people, especially young people, of what we've done and how much we love our country by the sweat of our work for justice for all Americans, and also how important it is to give every American a chance to improve his or her country and not block them by corporate interests and their political allies.
But in terms of full disclosure.
Let me tell you. There is a government ethics disclosure law that discloses everything. I have never supported political candidates releasing their income taxes because they have a lot of personal information. They may have a retarded child in an institution. All the economic information, the investments, everything will be disclosed in accordance with federal law.
Before you go, I got thousands of emails from people over the last several weeks talking about you and your potential candidacy, and many of them come down to 3 letters, EGO, ego. This is all about Ralph. He's going to be a spoiler because of his ego. How do you respond?
A spoiler is a contemptuous term, as if anybody who dares to challenge the two-party system, corrupt politics and broken politics and corporate power is a spoiler. Come again? See, these people are well-meaning people who agree with us on many of the issues, but they're hostages to an antiquated electoral college winner-take-all system that blocks all the way to excluding candidates from the debates, blocks any kind of voices, any kind of competition. And we've got to fight that. You can't just fight that from the outside, the way the Center for Voting and Democracy is. You've got to fight it from the inside as well. And that's what I'm trying to do, and I hope millions of Americans will agree. If they want fresh ideas, new ideas, solutions, but above all, if they want to become, in Jefferson's term, participators in our democratic society.
Ralph Nader, we thank you for joining us with your announcement. We'll be covering you during the campaign and hope you'll come back and share your views.
Thank you very much, Tim.
And we'll be right back.